the pleasure of working side by side with Fred on a couple of cases. And as Director Bluen said, nothing but enthusiasm. Great guy. I still couldn't get over that whole testing of the foreign fluid. For those of you who don't know, he responded to a call. I'm not really going to say what it was. All right, maybe I will. But responded to a call, and it was foreign fluid. It was a peeper, a peeping Tom call. It was a peeping Tom call. Guy was standing outside the window, and there was some kind of foreign fluid on the wall. I might be exaggerating a little bit on this, so just bear with me. I may do it just for the comical portion of it. So,
well, I want Joe to continue because he's a funny man and a brother of mine. But I want to let everyone know that Joe no longer works for the Palm Beach Police Department. He can say whatever the hell he wants.
Anyway, so he goes up to the wall, and I wasn't present at this call. Otherwise, I would have been YouTubing this thing in a heartbeat. But he goes up to the wall. This is what I'm told. Touches the fluid. Feels like a certain consistency. Tastes like a certain consistency. I'm kidding. Again, I exaggerate. Just for the comical portion of it. Fred, I wish you nothing but the best. I recently retired myself, and one of the major adjustments was missing this family here. Over the years, you develop not only your home family, but when you come into work, it's like a work family. And this is what you're going to miss the most. I'm telling you right now. But I wish you nothing but the best.
Thank you, Joey.
And for the record, the fluid was my perspiration that had dropped onto the floor, and I could tell by the consistency that it was perspiration and not anything else.
The police report covering that was about 5 pages long, by the way. And I think I can give add to what Director Bluen said about how long Fred has had the bug for law enforcement. When I went to the FBI Academy, chief of the neighboring law enforcement agency, Franconia Township in Pennsylvania, worked with Fred when they were dispatchers. Was it in Franconia Township or was it some other?
The whole county.
For the whole county. And that chief right now told me when I saw him last year that he's 43 years in law enforcement. So this has been basically your entire adult life. You've been connected to this, and you had to go make some money and travel and do other things. And fortunately, we were able to find you back here in Palm Beach, and thank you for that. Okay, who would like to come up next? Was that Dan? The deputy chief waving his arm? Okay. Excellent.
Thank you, Chief. All right, I had the pleasure of working with Fred as a supervisor for most of his career, and I'm glad to see a different shade of color on his shirt because Fred is known as being a black and white guy. And it got to a point one day, and I told Fred, I said, there's rules, and then there's ways to go around those rules or bend them a little bit. I said, you have to be a little more accepting to the politics and the ways of the new world. So I told Fred, I said, I want you to go out and find someone with a marijuana cigarette and don't arrest him. I want you to confiscate it the right way, put it in evidence, let the guy go with a warning or do an intel report. He had the most perplexed look on his face, but it's a violation of law. I can't do that. So, but that's the kind of guy Fred is. He's driven. The other day he was at a council meeting and he got up to the podium and he spoke on behalf of the lodge. And I had 2 different people afterwards tell me, wow, that guy's a police officer. He's the most articulate person, the most well-spoken person. And That's one of the things I'm going to miss most about Fred is the words he'll use. He'll come back all coiffed. And I'll say, "Where you been, Freddie?" He says, "I was at the tonsorial parlor." I still don't know what that is, but Fred goes to it quite often. But the other thing is, I don't know if we can find the video, but there's a video of some car chase Fred was involved in. The guy wrecked the car, blew out the tires, and then you see Fred come out around the front of the SUV, full sprint after the guy. I don't think the case ever went to court, so it's back in the coffers of the PD. But Freddie is a true professional. He's just a driven person for public safety with everyone here, the town of Palm Beach, residents, the business community. Like Mike Ryder said, so enthusiastic. And if we all have a tenth of that, then we're going to remain successful. I'm going to miss you, Fred.
Thank you.
Others, Laura Orgero. Oh, we got Recarey, another recently retired member of the police department.
Good evening, everyone. I'm happy to be here on behalf of Fred and speak a few words about him. He likes to tell the story about his first day on the job, and I was the FTO sergeant that he met, and I remember he remembers this. I don't, but I said to him, "What are you doing here at your age?" or something similar to that. But I'm really glad that he did show up. Somebody once asked me, we were having a conversation, somebody said something about Fred, and I think I recognized, as a lot of people did early on, his enthusiasm and his dedication to the work, and I said I'd take 10 Freds over some of these other people that we have. If everybody was like Fred, we would be much, much better off than you can imagine. Another thing I'd like to just mention, if for those of you people in the room that don't know, Fred is also, was the FOP president for, I think, 8 years? 10 years? 9 years, which is pretty amazing. And when nobody else wanted the job or could do the job, when somebody had to work and couldn't be here, Fred stepped up and was the president. And that requires that monthly commitment and all the things that goes with it. And speaking to the town council as he did last week on behalf of the FOP, and he's always one that you can count on. I really enjoyed my time working with him. The last year or so, or last couple of years, we worked closely together and really enjoyed that time. And I agree with Joe. This is, the people is what you miss, not the job, but the people. And I know that you're going to really miss Fred. Thanks.
At the policeman's ball, and I have worked with him for several years, and I ended up retiring this year, and he was a great boss, and the thing I remember about him was his radio, and his radio was next to his bed, and anytime illegal immigrants were washed ashore, he was there first thing. But he was a great boss, and I enjoyed his company, and I think we always had a great relationship. So if I could be as funny as Joe Recarey, I would, but I'm not up for stand-up comedy right now. But you were a favorite of mine, and I will always love you, and I won't tell Mrs. Hess what happened at that ball.
Thank you, Terry.
But I love Mrs. Hess.
Thank you, Terry. One very last one. And by the way, as far as dancing, at the last event there was a ball that Fred was there and I was there, my wife Janet was there. Fred decided to dance with my wife, which is fine, and I was watching them on the dance floor. But about 30 seconds into it, Fred was flat on his back on the dance floor. And I also remember something about a palm tree award that slipped out of your hands, a story from Janet.
Yes.
So now.
Good evening, everybody. I'm so happy to be here. I've been retired for a year now. Some of you know me, some of you don't, but I'm Kathy Ferris, and everybody loves Fred Hess. I mean, he is the most pleasant person you can even imagine. He's there for anybody who needs his help. When I first started with the town of Palm Beach back in 2001, he's rolling his eyes, but it's true. He was on patrol at the time. I was in parking control, and I had this car that I had to put a boot on, and it was very difficult because they had the spring-fed boots that were not easy to do. And he came upon me and he said, "Do you need any help?" And I thought, oh my God, you're my angel. And he put this boot on for me, and I never forgot that. That's my most vivid memory of Fred Hess. But he's always been very sweet and very pleasant, and we're all going to miss him so very much. But hey, you know, that's to your benefit. The best of luck to you in Pennsylvania. Thank you, Capt. Thank you.
Fred, the man of the hour.
Thank you. Thank you for everybody. You know, I intentionally decided not to wear a necktie tonight because I hope the men in the group will recognize that to a man, wearing a necktie is kind of like work, and I don't have to work anymore. But this morning I did wear a tie to work, and I was looking at myself in the mirror, as you need to do when you tie a tie. I thought, I wonder when the next time I'm going to have to tie a tie on is. And then I remembered, tomorrow night's the policeman's ball at Mar-a-Lago, and I'm the master of ceremonies. So tomorrow night I got to put a tie back on again. So, but now's the time for me to say some thank you to people. And I've decided that I cannot name names, because for every person I would thank, there's going to be 2 or 3 or 4 other people who are going to say, but he didn't mention me. So I'm going to say some thank yous by groups. So first of all, for the event tonight here, for the people at the Palm Beach Police Department, and you know who you are, who arranged for all this to happen, who made it happen like this, the invitations and so forth, thank you. To the Fraternal Order of Police, if you're not aware of it, the Palm Beach Lodge number 19, FOP, allowed us to use the facility tonight at no charge, paid for all the liquid refreshments, both alcoholic and non-alcoholic, totally on the Fraternal Order of Police, and to the Palm Beach Police Foundation, who paid for the hors d'oeuvres and all the non-liquid refreshments. All of it because the one thing that I was definite about was I didn't want anyone to have to pay to come to this tonight. I wanted everybody just to come who wanted to come. So thank you for those of you, to those of you who made this happen tonight. I'm going to switch now to the police department, and those of you will know who you are. Anybody who had any say in hiring me, assigning me, transferring me, promoting me, or appointing me, thank you. You've given me opportunities to be successful, opportunities to fail. But either way, as a 50-year-old rookie, things that I never thought I would be able to do. And thank you to those of you who've given me those opportunities. I also want to thank those of you who have kept me on the path, because along the way, as has been referred to, I may have strayed from the path slightly, gotten off course a little bit, done some things that was not in the best interest of either the department or me. And those of you who had the courage to say to me, Fred, we got to sit down and talk here, because this isn't the way we should be doing it here. You got to get focused again. You got to get back on course. You know who you are. I'm looking at Director Bluen over there. You know who you are, and thank you for keeping me on course. The third group I want to thank are those of you that I worked with very frequently. Those of you from patrol, from communications, from code enforcement and parking, from training and community relations, that I worked with every day. And I can think back on hundreds or thousands of times that I walked around somebody's house with you because we had an alarm and we had to make sure that nobody had broken into that house. And then those houses where there was an open door, and we had to go through those houses, room by room, closet by closet, under the bed by under the bed, looking to see if some bad guy wasn't hiding in that house that had broken into that house. Those of you that have done felony traffic stops with me, where we were with guns drawn, ordering people out of cars, not knowing whether they had a weapon and whether they were prepared to shoot us on the spot as soon as they got out of the car. All those experiences, thank you to those of you who have been with me on all those calls. And lastly, for those of you who have just been my friend, everybody who knows me knows I'm not hesitant to call and ask for advice. I'm going to call you up and say, Laura, how should I handle this? What should I do about this? How should I do this? Lisa, how should I do this? And my friends that have helped me to have a wonderful career as a 50-year-old rookie. So thank you to everybody. And in conclusion, I just want to say that I hope as I leave employment with Palm Beach that in some way the department or the town is maybe just a little bit better because of anything that I was able to help with, then I will feel that I've been successful here. So thank you.
The alcohol is still flowing, so feel free to have a drink. Thank you. Concludes the program.
Your debt has been repaid.
Very easy.
Just want to take a minute to welcome you all on behalf of the trustees and the staff of the Flagler Museum. It's a pleasure for the museum to host the Civic Association's annual meeting and the Mayor's State of the Town address each year here.
This year, the Raymond J. Kunkel Committee is also pleased to honor two worthy individuals who've made significant contributions to the Palm Beach community. Each will receive a plaque and a check as an expression of our appreciation for their outstanding service. The first Kunkel Award goes to retired Police Captain Fred Hess, a much-loved, highly regarded community servant who made a significant impact on our town. Fred cared deeply about the town, took time to get to know the residents and establish relationships with members of our community. As captain and later as chief information officer, he went out of his way to follow up on residents' concerns and was always willing to go above and beyond the call of duty. Public Safety Director Kirk Bluen described Captain Hess's enthusiasm as, quote, off the charts. He was